Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
And this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Dean and Alan Cochrane. Hey, text the show on 81215, follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the Absolute Radio website. You choose.
YouTube.
Oh,
We're on
extraordinary start to the show.
We're on everything.
Yeah.
Frank, it's very nice to have you back. I don't like you being off.
Yeah, you say that, but you get to sit in Daddy's chair. That's the best view of the telly.
Oh, I like Daddy's chair.
Oh, yeah, I know you do, I can tell.
I've made it nice and warm for you.
Well, you fill it admirably, I must say. But
How dare you?
It's very nice. I didn't mean that. Yeah, I noticed the sidearms seem to be a little further apart than they were. No, it is lovely to be back. As I think it was Gary... Oh, no. Sorry, everyone.
Maybe it was Gary Newman. No, we didn't know.
We didn't. Gary Newbon said. Yeah,
What was wrong? Can I establish? Because can I just say at this point, we need to establish some sort of euphemistic phrase for when you're next ill. Because I didn't quite know what was wrong. I didn't want to alarm the readers or the nation.
No.
And in my confusion, I ended up calling Daisy Daly because I was didn't know what to say. But what was you had a sore throat? Is that right?
But the problem with that is because Daisy's surname is Knight, so Daily Knight. Yeah. That is confusing, isn't it? Obviously, there is a Daily Night if you think about it.
Yeah.
But
if you think about it too long,
because
really
one often separates the bigger form of day into day and night, one becomes confused by that concept. Basically my voice had gone. You can probably still hear the vapour trail of my illness.
Yeah.
But, I spent much of the week, gargling.
Oh.
No.
I saw two different doctors accidentally. They just happened to come to the stand-up show I was doing, and they came backstage after and said, your voice sounds terrible, you should gargle soluble aspirin. So that's what I did.
They both said the same thing. That's good.
Yeah.
That's like if one of them had said gargle soluble aspirin and the other had said whatever you do not gargle soluble. That's a thing that other doctors say, and it's terrible.
For the first time in my life, and accidentally, I got what could only be termed a second opinion.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I did it. Although I bought... Now, here's the thing. I bought soluble aspirin, but it wasn't soluble aspirin.
Oh, what was it?
Now, it's either...
Did you buy it off some guy called Spider in West London?
They've either changed the name of soluble aspirin, or there are variations on solubility.
Right.
But it was called dispersible aspirin.
Oh, no way.
And it did what soluble aspirin did, but I did think, well, have I got the wrong... does this spread a bit more?
Do you know what I think? That's like Calvin Classic pants.
Do you think?
Yeah,
You
it's
think
not the real one.
Oh, no.
Was it cheaper? Were
Yeah.
they giving it away?
I'll have to gargle it. Now, gargling, though, I've never gargled so much in my life.
Oh,
And
welcome to my world.
No, but I tell you what I realised. I realised that there's a bit more to gargling than you might think. You think you just, have somebody kind of go, oh... There's quite a few techniques.
That's ululating that you did then, isn't it?
If you gargle 3 times a day, it's a bit like, the old Outliers 20,000 hours?
Yes.
By the end of the week, my gargling was... It's a bit like Keepy Uppy gargling, but with liquid. I was doing all sorts of variations. I found that if you made a noise, if you sort of went, oh, instead of just... that it changed the bits of the throat that you...
Like a kazoo?
Yeah, a bit like a kazoo. I found that I've Got a Friend in Jesus was the ideal...
You would.
Seemed to cover... Yeah, it's true, though. Seemed to cover everything. So it's...
How's the romantic side of your relationship with Kath going?
Well, I didn't do it in the kitchen. I went into the privacy of the toilet.
Poor Kath.
But
Poor woman.
I think gargling, if there's any children listening, I think gargling is to... when you, at school, and you play the recorder, and then that point comes, if you're doing all right, the teacher says, I think you could switch to the clarinet. I think with gargling, someone comes
I'm worried
and says,
where this is going. but-
someone could say to you, know what, I think you're ready to yodel.
Oh,
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
The other thing I had was I had a really bad back last week.
Oh, did
That
you?
wouldn't have stopped me doing the show, but it was.
How bad was it?
Well, put it this way, it was made worse by gargling.
oh,
Because the arching of the back.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
what a terrible vicious circle I found myself trapped in.
yeah.
So
How much do you arch?
So well, you have to arch quite a
Goes
bit,
full
otherwise it just...
cobra.
Yeah, you know, yeah, I do.
He does it lying on the floor and he gargles, just pulls his head back. He's got like a fountain of mouthwash that he gargles with.
I can't gargle because I'm paranoid about the neighbours. I mean, I say that. I don't mind them seeing me taking the bins out in a rabbit onesie. But still.
None of that was a euphemism, by the way, listeners.
What you should do is do it in a fox onesie. So they think it's like a fox getting in the bins. Yeah, I just wear my urban fox pyjamas.
I spilt red wine on the rabbit onesie. It was awful. Looked like we'll ship down.
Well, why would they mind the gargling, though?
Just because it's a bit of an unpleasant sound. I'm going to tell you,
See, I
Frank.
don't feel that anymore. I feel it's...
Yeah.
I feel it's an acquired skill.
And why did the back... Why did the back affect the gargling that much, though? How bad is the back?
Well, it's better now, but it was really. And the trouble was, people would say to me, you know, what happened to your back? And I made a point, I think, on the show a while back, that when you get older,
Yeah.
injuries don't come with an anecdote anymore. So people say, young people say to you, oh, bad back, what happened? And you go, nothing. Yeah. I just a bad back happened. I don't have an exciting, oh, I had a couple of drinks and we're trying to get over this wall. And these guys at Giles said to me, oh, come on, because some really good grass back at my house. And then I fell off the wall. I don't have any of those. You just wake up and think, ow. That's how it goes.
I'm still reeling from the idea of you having a friend called Giles.
Well, that's someone else telling the
Well,
story.
Dudley.
Obviously, but yeah, so I had a cough and back.
Fine.
Cough and back. Yeah, I wrote the Tales of Hoffman. That's the first ever Jacques Offenbach joke I think there's been on Absolute Radio.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't get
That's
the
all right.
Jacques
I'm just,
Offenbach
but aren't you just glad
pun.
it exists?
Yeah, if that's what you
It's
want.
like modern
yeah.
art and experimental theatre. You don't have to enjoy it. I'm just glad it exists.
What
Like modern art.
strange tweets come in. I wonder how many times the cockerel will crow Venn diagram this week. Anyone else notice how often he says it?
Oh, really?
Oh, is that one of your phrases, is
Must
it,
be
that
one of my
pays?
go-to phrases.
But the idea of the cockerel crowing has made me think it'd be worth watching him gargle. Would it have an element of to
You'd
it?
feel self-conscious gargling in front of you. Just,
You would in front of me, because I know about gargling.
yeah, don't you?
Yeah, I'd be saying, oh, it's a bit, you're a bit low on the
I
larynx.
think you're sounding a bit toppy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Righto.
exactly. Yeah, you need to just take the edge off that. It's my advice. Well, you watch the Winter Olympics, and you do get that sense. If I really put some time in on any one of these events, I could medal in 4 years' time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone got a gold after doing it for 5 years. That's not happening in the World Cup, is it?
No, there's a lot of that going on. Vanessa
Ridiculous.
May.
Yeah.
Vanessa May skiing.
No, but thanks for the tip.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, you know what we haven't discussed this morning?
Lots of stuff.
Well, the Brits and the BAFTAs.
Oh, yes.
Because it was awards week. You may have been at home in bed.
Is it what they call the award season?
Very much so. Well done for getting that right.
Good.
Caroline Scanlon has tweeted us, please can the panel discuss the insightful comments from the Arctic monkeys at the Brits?
Yes, well, in case you didn't see this, Alex Turner. That's
Oh,
what it's
well
called.
done, Frank.
Yes,
Patronising.
the old guy did good. I feel like I should be on a sort of petrol-powered lawnmower and dungarees at this stage. Mm-hmm. See, he called Alex Turner. Is that his name? That dude. Yeah, he got up with these monkey men.
He did.
And he did. Now, to be fair,
What do you feel of the monkeys?
well, I think they're all right.
They're too
I
busy
think.
singing to put anybody down.
Yeah, well, that's true. They're not as good as those monkeys.
No.
Let's get that right. But they've adopted an Arctic role. Mm-hmm. Things are different.
Lovely.
But he got up and he was a bit different. He'd obviously written and learned a sort of slightly poetic speech,
Yes.
which I liked.
Did you? Yeah, I'm a fan.
I mean, let's face it, you don't hear much poetry at the Brits.
No.
One thing, whenever I watch the Brits, I always think to myself, I'm really glad I'm in comedy.
Do you?
Because I find comedians to be bright, intelligent, witty, and generally good-hearted people. The music business is a fool magnet. I don't think there's any debate about that. I mean, it is
I think
such
you're right.
a gathering of fools, one after the next. And
Do you just spend your time wondering what the collective noun is?
well, yes,
And yet none of them paid any attention at school.
a
Is
Brit
it a Brit-
Award ceremony of fools.
Brits of fools, yeah.
But so when he got, at least he did have. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was poetry that one might receive on a greetings card from a 15-year-old.
Was it?
But even so, it was about rock and roll and about
All right.
you can't rock and roll will never die, which I think is a sentiment that may have been voiced before. But he didn't just come up and say thanks very much. He did a bit of a poem, and respect to him for at least doing that. On the night, he was the Shakespeare of the evening.
Right.
But then, this was, I think, the controversial bit.
Yeah.
He was holding a microphone.
He was.
And he said, invoice me for the mic. And then he dropped it on the floor.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I just
I didn't
think,
like that.
you can't help thinking that young boys who like the Arctic Monkeys all over Britain now will be grabbing the school microphone in assembly
Yeah.
and saying, invoice me for the mic. And a lot of them won't be VAT registered.
That's true.
The invoices will be...
They might have their own car companies.
They'll be an administrative nightmare, the invoices.
Yeah.
So,
The number of Shure SM58s that are going to be being invoiced for
Yes.
across the nation is going to be
Oh,
awful.
good knowledge, Al.
Thanks very much.
so
Do you know that made me quite attracted to you that you knew that brand of mic? 'Cause I don't know any mic.
I think on the night, relatively speaking, I thought they come out of it, apart from the mic thing, which is at the end of the day public vandalism. Apart from that, they came out. He did come out as someone who could speak if prodded.
I tell you, well, it just made me feel old. I agree with you, and I agree with all your sentiments, but I think I'd like to reserve a large portion of the show to discuss Prince.
Now, I would like that because I missed the Prince thing.
Okay, you know my views on him.
I missed him in the 80s, and I missed him again the other night. So,
Oh, you didn't miss much.
So I'm going to play. I'm actually going to play a track of my own choice, which is, I think, the cue for our readers to make tea and go and see if the papers have landed on the lawn. And then please clue me in on the artist once again known as Prince.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Before we continue to Emily's rant about Prince,
Well, is it going to be a rant?
I
it's not a rant.
I suspect it might be one
I could
of
It
be-
could be a homage.
I could be involved with him,
It could be.
for all you know.
Okay. the Prince and the Drama Queen. There we go.
Oh, lovely.
That's the headline. There you go.
See Laurence Olivier in that.
Yeah. We've had an email in that I think displays some ignorance of the situation here. Dear Frank, Emily and the Cochrane, spelt incorrectly.
Great.
Yeah, Cocrain. That's one of the worst misspellings of it ever.
Oh, come on. People are joining in.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering if any of
Well,
you
that's
went
been
to the...
said before and it ended in tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering if any of you went to the Brit Awards this week, or if you watched it on television. The email then goes on to slag off James Corden a little bit. I'm not going to read that bit, just because it's a bit mean. But they continue. Anyway, he's now not-
James Corden, wider than a mile.
Lovely singing
Thank
voice there. Anyway, he's now not doing it anymore, which leads me to my question, ... There is now a job vacancy for next year. I feel this show needs someone with confidence, a bit of age, and someone who could command respect from their audience with an added touch of humour thrown in for good measure.
Speak to my agent.
Someone very quick-witted, also someone who loves music, and all of a sudden I was thinking of you, Frank. So, firstly, if you were asked to do it, would you? Secondly, if you didn't want to do it, why not? And who would you nominate?
Well, the thing is, I have done it, and it didn't go that well. So, I don't know if they'd ask me back, to be
I think
honest.
that's the first time that bit of music has ever been needed since I joined this show, so...
I know, well, that's
feel
'cause I've stopped
somewhat
aging.
responsible.
I've thought of using it to fill some of the long pauses you leave, but no. I would I do it again? That's the question, isn't it? Would I go back and think, hey,
Yeah.
what a challenge?
I
No.
can remember it so well. Do you not want to go down memory lane?
I remember it quite well. Yeah.
I can remember exactly the clothes you had on.
Yes, I can remember
The waistcoat, Union Jack waistcoat.
Well, it was
satin,
a shirt, actually.
Oh, was it?
Specially made Union Jack shirt.
a silver satin effect suit.
It was, yes. Well, it had to take quite a lot of sweat as the thing went on, and some blood.
Can I ask you a question, Frank? Why is the Brits so difficult? Why is it such an awful gig?
Because the music business is a fall magnet. I might as well have walked out into, a Friday night crowd in an average town of drunken fools,
Yeah.
and started talking to them about the poetry of Philip Larkin. But I can't. You can't always blame your crowd. At the end of the day, it just went badly, misjudged, and awful.
Oh, God, this has really backfired, hasn't it? It was
No,
a bit of
I-
fun
this
is-
when we
this
first
is my
read it out.
I'm
and
just
now
happy that some people have forgotten.
It feels like we're in the psychiatrist's chair now.
This is my favourite 3 minutes of radio ever.
Yes.
Frank, we do need to talk about Prince.
Okay.
Well, I think I may have mentioned before, I hate Prince. I'm sorry, I know it's not popular opinion. I think he's so overrated. I think he's a sex pest. I think he can't spell.
Can we say that obviously is a sort of hyperbole and a poetic insight, not an actual literal accusation.
Anyway,
Has he still got that 14-year-old boy's moustache?
I'll tell you exactly what he's got.
Okay.
He's decided his image. I don't know what's happened to him, and I hate his clothes were always awful anyway. But he's now and the hair. It's like my grandma. He's decided to go for a different look, a bit boho. So he wears a polo neck. He's 55.
right.
He has a fedora, a polo neck.
Used to be a thing with actors, though. When they got a bit older, they would wear like a roll neck sweater to cover their turkey throats.
Well, that's what I think he's doing.
The
Purple polo
It's
neck.
very Clive Dunn, that the nylon polo neck.
Polo neck, waistcoat and pendant.
Okay.
It's very Northwest London drama teacher.
It's very older, wiser man in Emmanuel films, isn't it?
I just think find a new look. You
Well, he
can't
has
wear
found a
that.
new look,
No,
hasn't
but
he?
it's not the right
I think
look.
shop at New Look. That's my advice to him. Noi look. Yeah, I like I say, I don't know who he is, Prince.
Do you like-
I was drunk when he emerged, and then he went into a big sulk and became a symbol for a while. And
he's
now-
always sulking.
and
He
now
painted
he's-
on the moustache as well.
Did he?
Yeah, I
that
think-
don't
I
make
think
him
it
a
was
bad
real.
person. Groucho Marx did that, but no, I don't know what Prince is about. But he seems to have a fervent following, though.
Oh, they love him, these
Daddy.
people. These people love him.
Yeah, he's like royalty to them.
But do you think that's?
That's what it is.
Yeah, we can. Let's workshop that.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Had a couple of texts in. The day the Triffids music would be ideal for gargling, I imagine. That's
That'd be a tricky one.
isn't that a reference to Emily appearing in that?
Oh, is it?
Somebody that knows. I'm just assuming.
I think they're just suggesting that if you was to recreate that, because it's got that.
Oh, yeah.
I do
high
too,
register.
but I thank you for reminding everyone of that.
It's good that I am your sort of audio IMDb, isn't it? We've also had Frank, I'd forgotten about you presenting the Brits. Thanks for the reminder. The uncomfortable bilious feeling I had at the time has returned and put me off my bacon and egg patty.
Yeah, imagine what my uncomfortable bilious feeling was like. Don't come crying to me.
Oh, Frank.
It's all right.
I thought you did a lovely job.
Everyone has to have, look at George Clooney and Monument Men.
Yeah.
What is it?
Everyone has that.
Everyone has that in their back catalogue.
Yes.
Well, of course, he was in ER, wasn't he? Let's not forget. He was great in ER.
Yes.
Strange conversation.
There used to be an old black country joke when I was a lad.
You're going to do ER?
Do you know that? Yes, about the Queen.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't do it.
Oh, Frank. I feel really upset for him.
Yeah, I've got a bilious feeling. It's come back.
Hey, we need to talk about the BAFTAs as well. Did you watch
The
that?
Other Prince.
That's more up your strauser, Frank. Let's be honest.
I did watch the BAFTAs. Yes.
Did you like?
The Other Prince was involved, wasn't he?
Well, he
Because
was. There was a terrible incident.
Tinny temper.
Tinny temper.
Well, if he's going to insist on misspelling it, then he gets called Tinny.
He's called Tiny.
All right, Tiny
Okay.
temper. He high-fived the future king.
Well, he actually, to be fair, the Prince William high-fived him.
Oh, really?
Oh, did it? I don't know about
No,
that.
I thought he got the high five right, and Tiny Temper sort of grabbed his hand. You know when you have that terrible combo of one
Did he
person's
fist bump
high
him?
fiving, he sort of grabbed the hand.
Oh, no.
He grabbed the raised flat hand. Oh yeah. It was
But also, had he been singing, when they go a bit dry your eyes, mate, and a bit ballady, had he been doing one of those, but it was all you sucker MCs?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was appropriate.
Oh, dear.
No, it wasn't.
I loved the ceremony, though, I have to
was
say, because I like to see the frocks, you see. And for me,
A lot of black frocks this year.
well spotted, Alan Cochrane.
Thank you, Cochrane.
A lot of black. And a lot of men wearing black and white. And a black tie.
Brangelina.
Black tie do.
Brangelina, pretty little thing. Brangelina dance, Brangelina sing. Brangelina Singh was the girl I went to school with.
Yeah.
Frank, if they were friends of yours, you could have that when they rung you. That could be like their incoming tone.
Exactly.
That'd be good.
I imagine
For both of them.
they ring as a pair.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they dress as a pair.
I think they
I
share a
don't know.
phone,
Ring
yeah.
individually.
That was-
I always said one suit, one
Don't-
big suit, one big black tie suit. and
One
walked in
rabbit
together.
onesie.
Walked in like madness, with the synchronised walking. That'd have been great. It's about time they embraced the humour of their relationship.
What do you boys think of that as men? I felt the woman in the because they had matching tuxedos designed by Saint Laurent.
No,
and they
his
had
was someone else. I'm sure.
what?
I'm sure his was somebody else's.
Oh dear!
Blimey,
What's happened to him?
have you been drinking out of Anna Wintour's cup?
Well, I thought he looked magnificent. And I was surprised when
Did
it said
you?
that she was 39 and he was 50. Brad Pitt's 50. Get away.
He looks good.
He looks amazing.
Oh, hold on.
He looks
Hot off
awful.
the press.
Oh, he looks
Brad
looked
Pitt
gorge.
looks good. Oh yeah, Brad Pitt. Come to think of it, he's quite a good-looking bloke.
gorge.
Yeah,
Who knew?
that's never struck me before, I must say.
It really struck me looking at those pictures. Looks
Yeah, but
amazing.
you know what? I don't know if I'd want to go on holiday with them.
Don't
Don't
you?
you?
I don't know if they'd be sizzling conversationalists.
Well, I think they're
No.
quite bright.
Do you?
Yeah. What
Does
about
she
Dame
still
Judy?
wear a file of...
Dame Judy had the tapestry scarf. Jenny Murray.
Dame Judy looked absolutely furious not to win Best Actress. I mean,
she?
honestly, I thought she's going to break a bottle on the table in a minute and say, you better not come anywhere near me with this. She looked as angry as anyone's ever looked about anything.
Oh dear. Well, you've got previous with her after that incident of the Ivy,
got
which I
what's
still
angry
think you
in your
misinterpreted that.
She looked like she'd eschewed the offer of wine and said, actually, can I just have a Sarson's malt vinegar before they announced it. She looked, honestly...
This senseless feud has got to stop.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Jennifer Lawrence didn't turn up. Hate it when they don't turn up.
Yeah, they should.
I just think don't give it to them if they don't turn up. There's people there that would love
I
that
agree.
award.
I turned up... I was offered Rear of the Year the year before...
On a very similar note.
The year before I won it, I was offered Rear of the Year, and I couldn't make the ceremony, and they withdrew the offer and gave it to Richard Fairbrass.
Did they?
Yeah.
What was he? I'm too sexy.
Hang on, does he... hang on. Does he know that now?
Oh, well,
Does he already know?
I don't think he listens, does he? I
I ask you?
imagine
Good.
it's
If
a
you know
late
Richard
riser on a Saturday.
Fairbrass, don't tell him, because that's not going to make him feel
He's-
good.
he
I
was-
think he's up late on a Friday night.
could have
Richard
told us that
Fairbrass.
off
Yeah,
air.
he was
Spare his
dancing.
blushes.
He was dancing to High Energy at 3 a.m. this morning. I think we can safely say he won't be listening.
Can I ask you a question about Richard Fairbrass? Not something I ever thought I'd say on this show. Does he wear the trilby, if you know what I mean? Does he have to wear the trilby, or was there choice involved
Well, he
there?
was always bald,
They
though.
were
Well, that's what I
shaved-headed,
mean.
weren't they?
Was
Yeah.
there choice?
Um,
You can mull it over.
okay, thanks.
Um,
Mullet, over.
Yeah.
Can
Helen
I just
Mirren.
say Prince William made a classic comedian's error.
Oh, what's that?
Well, if you're a comedian and you're on later in the bill, it's very wise to watch the earlier comedians, because they're liable to do a joke,
Yeah.
especially topical stuff. They're liable to do a joke, and then you'll do a similar joke later, and the audience feel let down.
Mm-hmm.
And very early on, Stephen Fry, one might say that Stephen Fry should have left this joke to Prince William. But anyway, he went on and said, Helen Mirren is here this evening, and she's with her grandson. And it was a joke about Prince William being there. And then Prince William came out after and said, "Oh, the woman I should call her Granny."
Yeah.
And you can tell the laugh was ha 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 ha, rather than people think we've already had that.
It was a
joke.
bit
What's
someone
the
laughing
laugh
at Kim Jong-un's jokes.
It's terrible. There used to be a comedian called Owen O'Neill. I remember he arrived at the.
Was he Irish?
Yeah, he arrived at the comedy store and he was on before someone else. And they said to him, "Are you doing anything about Salman Rushdie?" And he said, "What can I do?" Which I always liked.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us on 81215, because you're good at it. We know that from the past. Or you can follow the show on Twitter, Frank on the Radio, or directly email us through the Absolute Radio website.
Do what?
That was a bit William Hartnell. So we need to move that. Anyway.
Why did he get his words wrong,
Well,
William
today,
Hartnell?
because telly was virtually live in those days, so they used to record like a 15-minute chunk,
I love
and
it.
they'd just have to do it straight through. So if you fluffed, it just stayed in. So
Those were the days.
Yeah, but it was tough on. He was 53, which then it's like in new money, that's like 88. Okay,
Okay.
we're not allowed to talk about Doctor Who. I remember in the middle of all that.
We can occasionally.
Yes,
I see Doctor Who every week. I can't go into
I
it any
see
further.
dead people.
Can we go into email corner?
Yeah.
Because I missed you there last week.
Okay, we go. I listened to it last week with the Why Don't You Do Blankety Blank.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Made me think maybe we could tour live and do this show live. What about that?
What about it? Speak to my people.
Also, sorry, I want to go back to last week.
Yeah.
Just to prove I was listening. Blankety Blank. The theme tune.
Yeah.
Blankety Blank, Blankety Blank, Blankety Blank, Blankety Blank,
Blank, blank.
etc. What did
repeat
one
to
man? Did one man write that, or did one man write the music and someone else write the words?
I don't know, but I'm...
Because if I'd written the music, I'd be a bit miffed about having to give half the money to a bloke who'd just gone blankety blank, blankety blank, blankety
Yeah.
blank.
Do you think it was the same person? I think it must have been.
And also, if I'd come up with the title of the show, I'd have
Yeah.
thought, well, shouldn't I get the words?
Didn't they have any other lyrics? Oh, they had Supermatch Game.
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
that-
true.
I can't imagine that the title of the show was come up with for the music, and then they applied the show to it.
Yeah.
Surely they had the show format of blankety blank first.
I just think, as lyrics go,
Yeah, it is.
could do better.
It is sparse. I'll grant you that.
Could do better.
There's not enough doing words in there, as we would say to my son. You need some more doing words
Oh,
and
is that
describing words and all that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
that's a very good thing to say. Anyway, we are in
Okay.
email corner. The eagle has landed.
Well, we're in email corner, but Tom is still insisting on referring to himself as 571,
nice.
prisoner style.
Who is?
This is Tom, who's the sender of the email.
Okay.
But he's still using the 571 moniker.
But I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I like that. Dear Frank, Emily and Alan, regarding Frank's great dislike of the film Donnie Darko, we've
Yes.
established already that you don't like this film. He's your prince, isn't he?
Well, it wasn't. I was harsh on the film because so many people said to me, "Oh God, you'll love it. You'll love it." That was the problem.
And you didn't. To the point where he was offended by those that recommended the film to him.
Yes.
I think it's probably likely that the film only reminded people of Frank because the weird giant rabbit man in the film is called Frank. Therefore, he seeped into their subconscious. Just a theory, long-time reader, first-time writer Tom. What do you think of that?
That's what people keep telling me. Oh, there's a drugs helpline I'd really like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Similar,
sort of
I've noticed a
makes
lot
sense.
of people recommend films with Alan Alda in them to me.
Do they?
Yeah, I wonder if it's an Alan thing. Alan comic.
I always get
kept banging
Emmanuel
on about-
recommended to me.
But he's Alan.
Nothing to do with my name, though.
Is he Alan, though? You're Alun.
That's right.
You'd
yeah.
need Alan Armstrong.
I
wouldn't
would,
you?
yeah. I need
Oh, yeah.
a Welsh Alan, don't I?
Yeah, that's what you need. It's, you know what, though? I'm thinking maybe I should give Donnie Darko a second chance. Because
What?
I was I was more tied up in how people view me that I thought, that was what I was worried about. But in fact, I should have just judged it on the film. And I'm all for giving things a second chance.
Yeah, but I think it's the people that like that film that I object to. It's a lot of men in black eyeliner
Yeah, but
that like to go to that
Oh, do
film,
you
isn't
think?
it?
But I mean, I remember the first time I tried on trainer socks.
It's a bit science geeks, that film.
Trainer socks.
Trainer socks. I put one on and
Yeah.
I thought, I hate that, it looks terrible.
You mean the shortened sock?
Yeah,
that
you know, the
doesn't come
trainer
up the
socks that
ankle,
don't
does
show
it?
above the trainer.
Yeah.
Put a pair of, and I put one of them on and I thought, no, never. Put the second one on and I thought, they actually look all right. It's
Yeah.
all about giving things a second chance.
It's like
Need a
eyebrow
second
threading.
opinion. Yeah.
Eyebrow threading. First time I just thought this is torture.
Right.
Second time I thought this is torture, but I look great.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
stuck with it.
Yeah.
I
I
remember
mean, there's so many things in life where one thinks, this is torture, but I look great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I say anything that makes you look great is torture, basically.
Is it?
Yeah. Isn't it? Exercise, surgery, dieting.
Oh, yeah.
Waxing. I mean, I thought after my first
Going
full
out with
body
someone
wax
really
that I would
ugly.
never do it again. But
Oh, yeah. I think you... I mean, I didn't want to say it at the time. I didn't think it suited you, the full body wax.
tell you what, it's fixed the belly button fluff problem, though. It really has.
Yeah, but I just thought you looked synthetic. I've said
I
it.
think I'm more streamlined, though. The way I move faster.
Oh, I didn't hear any of your usual swishing.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We're still residing in Email Corner for a while.
We certainly stopped off there. I've got out of the car. Let's put it that way.
Hello, Frank.
I've got my legs out.
Oh. Out of the car. Hello, Frank, Emily and Alan. I'm a long-time reader, first-time resident of Email Corner. There was some chat on the show a few weeks ago about stepping on things after Frank stepped on Duplo for the first time.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think I talked about my mate, auntie, who stepped on a 3-pin plug, stepped off a chair
Yeah.
onto a 3-pin
Oh,
plug.
yeah. This is a daily occurrence in my life as I work at a community centre with young children. However, this is nothing compared to what happened to me whilst I was working as a summer camp counsellor in California. It almost needs a dun-dun-dun there, doesn't it?
I like this, though, summer camp in California. It's gone very Charlie Brown.
I was
Yeah.
the only counsellor, 22 at the time. 22's not old enough to be a counsellor, is it? You don't know enough about the world to counsel, I don't think.
I agree.
I'm going to say it. Living with a cabin full of 16-year-old girls, and we didn't often clean up
This
after
is
ourselves.
a woman, is it? That's
This is Lindsay from
okay,
Toronto.
Thank God.
Well, Lindsay S.A.Y. So, jury's out.
Oh, okay. One day, while running out of the cabin late for a programme, I stepped on an upturned hairbrush with metal bristles that was lying on
Whoa.
the floor next to my bed. The
Whoa.
metal bristles pierced the sole of my shoe and went about 1.5 inches into the bottom of my foot.
Wow.
I fell to the ground and, against better judgment, immediately attempted to pull the hairbrush out of my foot. It took 2 girls to accomplish this. I spent the next 3 weeks on crutches and had to be rushed to hospital for a tetanus shot and for a medical professional to examine the 10 to 15 puncture wounds on my foot.
Blimey. I would have, rather than ask them to pull it out, I'd have said, can you put another one in the other foot? And can someone get Ravel's Bolero up on Spotify? And I would have given them a glorious demonstration, ending with me lying full stretched on the floor.
With bleeding feet and 2 hairbrushes sticking out of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It doesn't... Does it sound painful? I'm sure it's painful.
It does,
to me.
Anyway, carry on.
She says, probably she, I think. Thankfully, I avoided infection and have lived another 2 years to tell my tale.
Congratulations.
I like the lack of total optimism.
Yeah, exactly. So far, so good.
Never will a metal-bristled brush be tolerated in my presence again.
Oh, strict.
Thanks, Lindsay, 24, Toronto. P.S. Bieber's Homeland says hello, and Emily, you are a ledge.
Oh, thank you very much.
You are a ledge.
Yeah, you certainly got a ledge. I'd imagine that if you stood on a hairbrush and it went through, you get that wad of hair.
Oh, yeah.
At the
That'd be a
base.
nice cushion, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm wondering if this was how Nike Airs were invented. It's like that.
Hair
Yeah.
Max.
Perhaps they were originally called spiky hairs.
Yeah.
And then someone said we can't really
You know, I have so much of that lying. I spend all day doing that, getting it out of hairbrushes, and
Yeah.
I could actually stuff cushions with the amount of hair that I gather.
Well, if you gathered it, you could sell it for wigs. They
Oh,
use
yeah.
this
Horsehair, isn't
Oh, yeah. How dare you?
horsehair in wigs.
Horsehair.
Well, for horse wigs.
No, isn't it horsehair
That's it.
that they use? Emily will know.
They don't use horsehair
No,
in
they-
wigs. What are you talking about?
I thought they used horsehair in wigs.
No, they
Don't
use
they?
real people hair.
Do they?
We'll discuss it off air.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's quite a big business. Real people hair wigs.
Is it?
Oh God, I've got a business card somewhere.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We just had some clarifications through regarding horsehair wigs. You know, Alan said he thought horsehair.
Yeah, but
Went
you know
into
what?
wigs.
I didn't go away thinking, oh, I wonder if he's right. I went away thinking, why did he say that?
Well,
I thought-
in
I thought
fairness-
wigs were made of horsehair. It's
Be rough, be coarse.
In fairness, it's not rank stupidity because Claire Tompkins says
I never said it was rank stupidity. can
Oh, I did. Claire Tompkins said horsehair is for upholstering furniture. Someone called Brainy Chat says horsehair wigs are those ringlety things that used to be worn by lawyers, Alan. Actually, point of order, it's barristers who wear them, but never mind, Brainy Chat.
I'm already thinking of writing a sitcom about comedy cab drivers called Rank Stupidity.
I knew you would be.
I like that. Anyway, well, I'm glad we've cleared that up. We should sashay.
I suggested to Adrian Chiles yesterday.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know that we did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Know that you did it. I've got it on Sky Plus, never to be deleted.
And the one that we got wrong is what is a cataphile and what. Sorry, cataphiles go into catacombs under which famous city? And I thought it was Rome and it was Paris.
Oh, it was awful. Like I said, save the lifeline because we'll save it when we get to 1 million.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But I had an idea that we should do a documentary, me and Adrian, in which we go and investigate the catacombs under Paris, purely based on the on our sort of constant ongoing conversations about getting that question wrong as a way of getting it out of our system. I think that's a great.
That sounds like a star-led documentary in the making, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the idea. You're sort of Wallace and Gromit of the archaeology world.
But going and doing it based on get that question wrong on Millie and it nagging at us,
Yeah.
I think it's got a. Anyway,
It's like your rosebud, both of you.
you keep my rosebud out of this. I showed it you once, and not for you to go on talking about it.
We should move on to a story that has caught my eye.
I'm
very,
liking the sound of this.
very
This has
close
gone
to my
very,
heart. This.
Anne Diamond on Sky News.
Well, it might not when I start reading it, but
Okay.
it's I'm tempted to say, have you heard the one about? But it's not a joke. It's absolutely true. There was a wedding brawl
You should say, I am reminded of
in
the.
West
Yeah.
Yorkshire, which began over a pork pie. Police were called. A couple's wedding celebrations were interrupted by a brawl that is thought to have started over a pork pie. And 30 or 40 guests were involved in the disturbance. There was a big fight.
I like that you're using the disturbance.
My favourite quote in it is, "The bride was devastated. Her dress was ruined. She had a lovely big white gown and it had beer and WKD all over it."
That's like when I stayed in the Arsenal team hotel.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
She had a lovely big white gown.
I don't think that's ruined. Surely that's somewhat improved. Someone could have slurped that, couldn't they?
They don't wear them again, though, do they? The big white gowns.
No, but someone...
Well, it depends.
My mate, who's really into coffee, he quite often asks for a
Your
pour-over.
mate's really into coffee. Is it George Clooney?
Yeah, that's right. Me and
George Clooney!
Me and George Clooney go way back. He was in Always and Everyone with me when I played Jason the Asthmatic. But you know, my mate who's really into coffee, he has pour-overs. Have you heard about that?
What's that?
They basically pour it through like a muslin cloth or something. But this could be like an alcohol...
Is he strung out?
Yeah, he's all strung
druggy.
out on caffeine. This could be like an alcohol version where you pour beer and WKD through a wedding gown and just slurp it off.
I see.
I think that'd be quite nice.
It might be a nice ritual on the wedding night to drink stuff strained through the wedding robe.
Lovely.
Okay.
It was...
What was the dispute about the pork pie?
Well, I don't know, but can I tell you, the groom...
I told you don't get trellis top.
Frank, the groom had a shaven head. And we know where we stand on these shaven-headed people.
I'm all right with shaven-headed people.
I bet there was an entire table that was just devil dogs sitting on their own. With just dog food on that table. That's my theory. We'll come back to this wedding, I think.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
Someone offering to do the photography, Amanda, for you if you go to the catacombs.
Nice.
Included her website.
The lighting's going to be tricky down there.
Yeah, but you and Adrian aren't difficult to light.
No, I don't know. If you light Adrian wrongly in an underground cavern, that's going to be like Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, don't be horrible.
He loves it, really.
Oh, Doug.
I've been trying to get to the bottom of what happened in this fight.
Thanks.
Sorry.
And apparently it all started with a water pistol and then a pork pie got thrown.
Oh.
Didn't realise it was a thrown pork pie. I thought the whole thing was about the wrong pork pie. Somebody going, "I asked for gala pie," you know, the one with the slice of egg in it.
Why would anyone fall out over carbs? Awful.
Pork pie's mainly protein, surely. Fat and
Have you seen a pork pie recently? There ain't much meat in it.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you're taking the word pork very literally.
Yeah. There's a lot of pastry.
If someone throws a pork
life.
pie, there's going to be trouble, isn't there?
Yeah. They're looking for bother.
Well, you know that shaven-headed groom that I spoke of earlier with some contempt, even though I've never met him.
Surname Barraclough. He's a good northern bloke, isn't he?
His quote was, "It was a brilliant day. You've got to expect a punch-up at a wedding."
Yeah, he took it well.
Little insight into his soul there.
Well,
I wonder if Chinese people read this story and think it's about time they started throwing their own food at weddings. Yeah.
there's also a nice bit where the venue gave them their deposit back because the fight broke out. Now, I just think that's incentivising fights for other people that go there.
I thought the couple had given their deposit back to the venue to say that they were sorry about the fight. That's how I understood it.
Well, it says here, we gave the bride and groom their deposit back.
If Ryan Barraclough's listening, maybe he could text us in and put us right on the facts.
It says here, we gave the bride and groom their deposit back as a gesture because they were so upset, and then...
then
they weren't upset.
I've made the most terrible error.
It's quite a petty thing to fight over, though, isn't it? The old pork pie.
If you got hit by a pork pie, you'd be up and fighting, let's face it.
Yeah, it's like John Prescott, innit? He got hit by an egg and he lashed out. It's the same thing.
It didn't take much for him to lash, though.
Someone throws foodstuffs at you, they're not making an omelette.
If it had been a posh wedding, I could have understood it, because someone could have said you have to throw the bouquet, and they could have thought you have to throw the poke pie. They could have thought they'd said that, and it'd just be a genuine misunderstanding. No, not the poke pie. The Boca, too late. There's trouble.
Yeah.
Giles.
Giles, he's back.
Thank God.
Imaginary friend Giles.
I know you've got a bad back, but can you sort this out?
I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the one thing we do know about this wedding is perhaps that it was not a posh wedding. That's my guess.
No, that is probably true.
Put it this way, I don't think they had plasma.
Oh, yeah. Placemats.
No.
None?
Google it. I can't get far enough down the food chain.
I once had an argument with my brother about the preparation of pigs in blankets. That seems pretty petty looking back on it.
Did you really?
Yeah. He wanted to prep them in the dining room on the table that they were going to be served in, and I said, it's basic food hygiene. And I think when you're saying it's basic food hygiene about pigs in blankets, you're probably...
Yeah.
I think at this wedding it was arguments about the preparation of devil dogs in tuxedos.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, this wedding, they did essentially fall out over carbohydrates.
Yeah.
With a small amount of protein in it. Which is a curious thing to have a row about.
Well,
whether they rowed over it or whether it was because someone threw it, I don't know.
As it says in the article, they had been drinking since 2 p.m, which it says as if it's that remarkable, and I think, yeah, it's a wedding, that's surely...
That's quite a late start
Yeah,
for a wedding.
what happened? Did they sleep in?
Yeah.
And the other thing, when I used to go to weddings as a young man, we were just topping up the amount of drink we've had the night before, which people now, stag nights happen like 3 months before. And
yeah, there's no element of danger attached to them. It's depressing.
yeah, and you don't get that long stream of urine coming from the back of the church. People used to go around the back of the church. And it used to all come round. So it's on all the wedding photos of the 1970s. It's where people have been to the side of the church and then all the urine has run round to the front. As if like an enormous train of urine coming from a mystery bride who's waiting in the wings.
I love 70s wedding. Always women with terrible hair.
That's true, of course.
But Frank, when I read the story, I did think, don't take this the wrong way, but it did remind me of you a bit. Because, no, but you do get sort of knocked over little things, don't you?
Oh dear.
No, but you do sometimes,
Who
Frank.
was it who
Would you have a row
texted
over
in
a
once
pork
and
pie?
said you are you must
You're a
admit
bit of a
you've always
git.
been a bit of a git. Yeah, I was in Paris.
Oh,
with
how are we
my-
going to keep
my
you down on the
girlfriend.
farm?
Yeah, and my girlfriend said, Kath, said to me, so what colour was what's the natural colour of your hair? I said, well, you can see, can't you? She said, well, no, it's grey now. And I said, well, it's not all grey, is it? And she said, yeah. And I said, no, you can still see... You can still see some of the originals. She said, no, it's completely
Some of the
grey."
originals, like the original band lineup.
And I thought... I remember thinking to myself, has she had a mental breakdown? And I honestly thought, and this is true, it's terrible now looking back, I said to her, I am afraid to sleep with you tonight in case you put a knife through my back. I think you've had a mental breakdown. And she said, I can't believe you said that. You know,
I have to say, I'm with Kath on this.
I know, but I'm not saying, look, neither of us were blameless.
No.
I said, look, this is difficult because I sound like I'm getting upset because you're saying I've got loads of grey hair,
Yeah,
but I'm just
you
getting upset
really
at the facts. You can see. I mean, bear in mind, this was 5 years ago or more, so
Right.
it was even more of my natural colour showing than there is now.
Why didn't you go up to a Parisian and ask their opinion?
Well, we were in... This was
Pardon,
late.
monsieur.
This was late at night.
Mon chevaux?
So, she got me to text 3 friends a text which we both agreed on, which was not a leading question, Your Honour. And I texted it at about 11 o'clock at night. I texted 3 friends.
You didn't.
Completely out of the blue. What colour is my hair?
You didn't.
Yeah.
I noticed not me,
No.
because you'd get a big bite of the reality sandwich.
And then we wait. But, I know there's a lot of grey in it, but you can see, can't you, the original colour.
I think I'm at the wrong side for this. I'm seeing
Well,
a
anyway,
lot.
you could 6 years ago when we
6 years ago, I would definitely have seen real
had this argument,
coloured hair. Real coloured
So,
hair.
Horse hair.
So we had text started coming back that all said the same sort of things, sort of mousy blonde,
Right.
with
Did any
quite
of
a lot
these
of grain.
people say, why on earth are you asking me this?
I think some of them did add that as a
I
postscript.
think if I received that, I would just think, God, holidays are boring when you don't drink.
I think that
God,
they'd think that
They're sending out texts about what hair colour they've got. They should
I
be
would
drunk in a
assume
bar in
that
Paris, surely.
Well, they'd think I'd got drunk. I now was both blind and had amnesia. But it was that was a difficult. We split up on the strength of it.
Did you?
Really?
But we did get.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, we got back together.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
You were telling us about some petty rows you'd had. I do want to discuss that, Frank. I'd like to park it because I've just had a text in about room 101.
Can I say that the nice thing about having a petty row in Paris is it very much wasn't a petty row, although it was a petty row. It was a row grand.
Tune in next week for more puns in French.
Yeah.
Yeah. I fell out with a friend, actually, I should say, and didn't speak to her again. Honestly true. Because we both liked Adam and the Ants.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have to make a decision who likes who. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
She was adamant.
Route 1.
That was her.
What was she adamant?
Everyone has their cross to bear. I went for Terry Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which I thought was a more... I don't know.
I didn't think you even ate cheese.
I thought a slightly more intellectual choice.
Uh-huh.
That's like fancying David Baddiel over Rob Newman, isn't it?
Hey.
No, but it is. It's when you're someone who's got a more sort of,
Well, I think David Baddiel's much better looking.
alternative taste. Well, there you go. That's because you have alternative taste. I don't think anyone would argue with that.
Anyway, I went for Terry Lee, and fair's fair. We all know where we stand. Then Adam starts getting a bit too famous. She doesn't like it. She decides she likes Terry Lee.
Oh, no.
And she announced it in front of a room full of... And she said she announced hers first.
Oh, so suddenly you look
Said,
like
who
a
do you like?
plagiarist.
Yeah. She said, I like Terry Lee. I said, no, you don't. I got really upset.
I bet you did.
I never spoke to her again.
I think that one's all right. I don't
Do you? Do you think
is
that's fair
petty.
enough? It's not petty.
Petty, is it? That's fine, yeah.
Are you a petty man, Alan?
No, but I seem to have... I have a pettiness area that is in-car hygiene, because I spend a lot of time driving, and so I'm trying to get the car clean. I don't know if you remember, I said that I was going to laminate the rules of no eating in the car on the show.
You're going to laminate the car interior.
I thought you were going to laminate Mrs. Cockerell.
No eating in the car rules. The very next day, my wife said, I'm going to give the kids a croissant each. I mean, a croissant!
That's
Ridiculous.
That's just a crumb machine.
So I've on occasions taken photographs of in-car mess.
I've heard that.
My wife left some chewing gum in a wrapper in the little well in between the car front seats.
Oh, I'm familiar with
where
it.
you'd put a pile of change. Just a piece of chewing gum on top of it.
At least
I took
it was
a
in a
photograph.
wrapper.
I took a photograph and sent it, and it just said a new low ...
Did you?
So I think it brings out a pettiness in me. The car hygiene.
You know what? I think you're right.
Yeah, I think I'm in the right.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us on 812.
I've gone a bit William Hartnell again.
That's exactly. William, pass the... and I can't say his most famous one on Breakfast Telly. Breakfast Telly? Oh, pathetic. He still thinks it's on telly, of course. 81215 is the text number. We'd love to hear from you. Or you can tweet us at Frank on the Radio, or email us through the Absolute Radio website.
Yeah.
And they have actually sent a few texts in about petty arguments based on the one you had. Hi Frank, you accused me of being grey-haired at your show on Wednesday in Leicester Square. I explained I wasn't fully grey either.
No, that was a man who was... He was
That was
like
me.
He was a youngish man.
Actually.
And he did look... if it's the man I think it is, he was...
Dan?
Yes, it was Dan.
Oh, he sounds lovely.
Wow.
Yeah, he really did. We stayed and brought it up. He was in denial.
Oh, really?
Dan Isle, that's his actual
Was he a
name.
silver
Dan
fox?
Isle.
He was
Very
called
good.
Dan, he was sitting in the aisle.
Would he be nice
No,
for me?
impossible.
No, he was with a lady.
Well, that doesn't stop me. Frank, Oh, calm down. Yes, it does.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. 567 has texted us about Room 101. As the hardest working man in showbiz, this is yet another vehicle of yours.
Yes.
Hi, Frank, Ems and Lecoq. How do you stand
That's
on that?
all right.
I'm fine with that.
I've been watching Frank's Oblivion-based TV vehicle.
Okay.
I like that.
In that we condemn things
Yeah.
to oblivion.
And ever since the first series, he seemed to struggle to pick the right lever of destiny for each guest,
It's tricky.
and hovers his hand over it before checking which is which. Frank, do the producers change the position each show just to confuse you? Would you care to elaborate?
Well, obviously there's different guests each show, but one of the problems is on the first series they were they broke all the time.
Oh, did they?
those levers, and so there are some when I'm basically pulling them back with just my thumb and index finger, like somebody replacing their butterfly collection.
Oh.
So that it's so delicate. But yeah, I just think it's I'm so tuned into what they're saying, and that I'm no good with mechanical things.
No.
I will try better.
On the subject of mechanical things, we've also had a text from JD saying my company are doing a deal
JD Sports.
My company are doing a deal on SM58s at the moment. Let me know if anyone needs an invoice.
Oh, yeah, I'd like one.
Nice.
I'll have one of those as well. What are they?
The microphones.
Microphones.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much the industry standard.
Yeah.
You'll have,
All you
I assume they were big white trainers if it was JD
No.
Sports.
All you
held many
sucker MCs need one.
SM58s in your time.
Yeah, I don't really know the names of the microphones.
We
I
argue
find it's
about-
not a good gig if I'm looking at the brand and the thing.
We argue about which way the toilet roll should hang. My husband says when it hangs to the front, it makes the bathroom look smaller.
I
Small
think
bathrooms, big tiles.
that's because men are used to having things hanging to the front in the toilet. That's their naturally.
Sorry?
No, but I believe that's
my
a
goodness.
psychological thing. I honestly do believe that.
I feel sickened by
There are
it.
so
it's
many
true.
sentences I'm trying not to say now.
Yeah, elephants, they always have the toilet roll to the front as well.
Oh, my
Well,
God.
I'm not being rude, it's a Freudian point.
I'm not being rude, Bart.
Yeah,
Simon
not being-
Cowell.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank's been getting upset because we've been talking about the show last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't here, and
I know.
like, when a kid's been ill and he goes back to school, and they're all saying that was great, wasn't it, with Mr. Smethurst last week, and you feel like such a fool.
I was just reminding the team of, because I didn't tell you the story about Five, who gave me my worst review ever, which was they checked me out and then consulted as a group in a slight rugby huddle, and then looked over and went, actually, no.
Oh, you're kidding. Well, they elected a spokesman. Oh, well, they were wrong. Because let me ask you this question, where are they now?
Yeah, 5.
And where are you?
Yeah.
Speaking of reviews, actually, I was
Actually, no.
I was in the West End of London on my way to a gig, and I go past a theatre where 12 Angry Men is showing.
Love that play.
Yeah, 12 Angry Men. It's the story of the making of the Dave Lee Travis calendar. And no, it's a courtroom drama, tense courtroom drama.
It is.
And they have like quotes from reviews hanging outside.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
theatre.
rolling in the aisles and all
Yeah,
that
on
kind
the
of
edge
thing.
of my seat throughout, and stuff like that, yeah.
that. Suspenseful thriller. They only ever use that in reviews, suspenseful.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true, actually. Well, anyway, the review that caught my eye as I walked past this theatre for 12 Angry Men was topical as a knife blow.
Oh.
That
Was-
what
This
does that
wasn't
mean?
your show, was it?
No, topical as a knife blow.
Yeah,
Terrible.
that seems like
What is a knife blow?
very mixed up, that.
It is. What is a knife blow, and what's the nature of its topicality?
Well, it sort of insinuates that there's been a lot of knife crime recently that's in the newspapers.
But you wouldn't call that
doesn't
a
it?
knife blow.
No.
If people being hit with the handles of knives.
Yeah. Surely it should say something like as sharp as a knife's edge, or...
It should if they could make them. It didn't sound like it was picked from a big batch of very, very good reviews.
That's a
It didn't
terrible...
like there was a PR guy. So what do you fancy then? Excellent, brilliant, fantastic, sharp as a knife blow. Best thing I've ever seen. What was that last one? What, best thing I've ever seen? No, before that. Sharp as a knife. Yeah, we'll have that. Sure? Yeah, I really like it. Really? I don't think that happened. I think it was rubbish, sharp as a knife blow. I suppose sharp as a knife.
I think it was just sharp as a knife, and it was written by someone called Blow, and his name's ended up there by mistake.
It's got the quote.
Well,
and this is the other thing.
Yeah.
If it had been like The Guardian, you'd have thought, well, they've gone for a bit of an odd quote, but at least it's like a big... It's sharp as a knife blow, theatre cat.
Oh, dear.
Well, I mean, you've had to trawl the internet to find sharp as a knife blow.
Theatre cat is
To the
so...
theatre cat.
Well, I tell you what, Theatre Cat is so one of my parents' friends with glasses on a lanyard, isn't he? Hello, Theatre Cat, can I help you?
He or she. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But... I mean, it's run for a while. I'm imagining it's all right, this play.
Yeah, I think if it goes really well, they could make a film of it.
That's a good idea. But,
What about my worst review? When an ex-boyfriend's brother said I look like Gloria Estefan. Oh.
is that bad?
I was absolutely... I didn't get out of bed for 4 days. Of grief.
Well, neither did Gloria
worse to that?
Estefan, if I remember rightly. She was having a platinum spine flip fitted, to be absolutely fair.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I had a review on Twitter. Posted a nice selfie of myself with my new bag. Someone called Paul has said, bag fab, shades too much, you're too pretty to carry off Butch. And he's put Butch in the little commas. So I don't know what he means by that.
Well, no,
I had
I would-
aviator shades, so they're a bit pilot, channeling a pilot.
I wouldn't knock that, though. As you
Okay.
know, I'm a great fan of the sexy aviation female.
Yes.
Aviation pioneers. But, too pretty to, and nice
yeah.
bag. I mean, I think it was Meatloaf who said 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you say I don't know what to make of that, I just think all you read in that is just you're too pretty, and just the rest can be la 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 la. Just that's all you need to take out
I
of
think
that.
Okay.
Meatloaf had he'd been in one of those, those places where you have the He-Man breakfast. Those, and they put 3 on the table, and you can only manage 2. I think that's where that song.
My friend
from.
interviewed Meatloaf once and asked him the question, I'm afraid.
Oh yeah.
You'd do anything for love, but you won't do that. What was it? He went, do you know how many times I've been asked that? He didn't like it.
He didn't answer it.
No.
No.
He said, listen to the lyrics.
That's
all in there.
That's too big a price. We never play Meatloaf, do we? On Absolute Radio. You'd think he'd be Absolute Radio.
Got time to play Police, but we've not played Meatloaf. It's curious.
Yeah. We also had a text in from Dandy Man.
I mean, I'm glad we don't. Don't get me wrong. I'm surprised we don't. Sorry.
Dandy Man says, morning gang, it seems a bit weird sending this now, just because he's listening behind, I think. But I was listening to some old podcasts recently, and Frank said he sings a little tune for people's names. In case he doesn't already do it, I thought I'd suggest singing Matt Berry's name to the tune of Black Betty. Keep up the average work, no praise.
Oh, yeah, that would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Whoa, Matt Berry, bam-a-lam. Whoa, Matt Berry, bam-a-lam. Matt Berry's rolling in clover, bam-a-lam, because of his numerous voiceover. Yeah.
He's funny in the Vic and Bob thing. Seen that?
He's funny. That's a funny programme.
Yes.
Stop being so nice about everyone.
He's
It's
funny,
weird,
man.
isn't it?
I know, he is funny,
He was,
I know.
he was in one of my favourite ever
I like Matt
sitcoms
Berry.
of all time.
But can we just find people to be horrible about?
I received a stinging review when I stopped hanging out with my mate Stephen Payne when I was a teenager, and then someone fed it back to me that he wasn't hanging about with me anymore because all I wanted to do was listen to music and eat pizza. Which I think
That's what... You're a teenage boy,
That's-
exactly.
that's perfect. And all that's changed is that I'll probably listen to less music now, but I still love pizza. It's great.
Actually, can I ask... we were talking about Prince.
Oh, yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
I have a vague memory now, which one of our readers might be able to help me with
Yeah.
if you can't. Was there not an award ceremony where Prince was either receiving... I think he was receiving an award, and he was really... there was a female presenter, and he was really rude. He sort of took the thing and didn't even acknowledge her and stuff like that. Does that ring any bells with you?
Oh, does he not have in his contract that people don't make eye contact with him? Is that,
Oh, is he-
is that one of his
has he-
Oh,
one of
probably.
those things.
Well, James Corden took a selfie of him on stage.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I don't know what he
if
would have
that
made
be
of
in his
that.
contract. I mean, the knowledge that is out there will come in, because we've just had a text, 760. Frank, there are catacombs under Rome. I've been there.
No, I know that. I know that, because
He knows
that's
that.
why I guessed that. That's
Oh,
why
I thought there was new
It
information.
should have been
coming in
Paris,
there.
though.
I think that question was faulty, because the catacombs under Paris are not genuine.
You're not
catacombs.
seriously citing
Yeah.
that this question was
Yeah.
faulty,
So
Defence. Seriously.
the catacombs in the
You can
question
talk.
on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire should have been inverted commas.
You spent the whole of the last record talking about a pub quiz question that you'd got right that nobody had listened to you about.
Yes, and can I say that was, 15 years ago?
Yes.
I was at that pub because it was 15 years ago and she's still seething.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
We've had an email in. I should explain, Frank. In your absence, Emily started a somewhat different type of text and email in.
Oh, no.
You know, when you're here, we do stuff like, have you ever had a row over a pork pie? Well, it's now changed somewhat to, have you ever been on a private jet? And
No.
if
Can
so,
I
could you
correct
explain-
Shioni?
Yeah.
When were you last on a
When
private
were you
jet?
last on a private jet?
Get it right.
Dear Frank, Emily, Alan and Steve, if Hall's in the house, just a quick note to reassure Emily that some of your readers do have some private jet tales. After my first ever hitch, brackets trip, apparently that's what it's called, on an oil rig in the Sahara Desert in Algeria finished, myself and a co-worker were sent back to the main town of Hassi Messaoud? Messaoud? Masood.
I don't know, but I'm glad
Okay,
he's
good.
reading this email, not me.
I did wonder to wait for the next flight home, which was planned to be the following day. This was on the oil company's private jet, a G2, which seated around 10 to 12 people.
Oh,
However,
I
as-
know those ones.
Oh, yeah, me too. However, as we arrived at the airport from the rig, we noticed the jet we expected to take the following day was on the ground. It had made a special flight out with some equipment.
Had it arrived oily?
Yes. Ah, very good.
Lovely. I love that, Frank.
You all right?
Just laughing.
Thought someone was draining a radiator for a second there.
I bet someone is.
Probably.
Somewhere.
It's very Absolute Radio listener to drain a radiator.
It had made a special
Isn't it?
flight out with some equipment, which meant the two of us were the only passengers, plus the pilot, co-pilot, and steward. A grand leather seat each, and as much San Miguel as we wanted for the 2-hour flight to Madrid.
But you're on a
Sounds
private jet.
brilliant. Sounds brilliant. I remember thinking that trips home don't get any better than this, and nearly 20 years later, composing this from an office on a rig in the North Sea, they certainly haven't.
Wow.
Sadly, commercial reality set in from Madrid to London, and we had to get back in line and turn right for the rest of the journey home. That is all, Jeff.
Yeah, special.
Now, I think that's an amazing email. Not just the private jet journey,
Yeah.
but the bit where he says, composing this from an office on a rig in the North Sea, I had a moment of going, wow.
Yeah.
We've got listeners on oil rigs. It's
Not
amazing
only
what
that,
they can
but
do
when
now,
he
isn't
said
it?
when he said an oil rig in the Sahara Desert,
Yeah.
so he's been in one in the Sahara Desert, one in the North Sea. That must be a different sort of experience. I
He
think.
gets about,
He'd
doesn't
be
he?
nice for me,
Over the
Jeff.
course of 20 years.
I could sunbathe on that rig.
I've had a couple of private jet experiences just lately.
Have
Big
you?
man.
Yeah, it's an age thing, I suppose.
What happened?
I wet myself.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We need to talk about my damaging levels of mind wandering.
Blimey, what's happened?
Well, I changed car last week, so I've been spending a lot of time searching for a replacement car for my old vehicle.
Can I just say to you before
Yes.
you do this, that the way you've got your headphones on is you've forced a sort of a
Have I got a
spike.
bristle?
You've
Excellent.
forced a spike. You look like a novelty lighter.
Oh, good.
You've just got a little pointy flame-like bit of hair
I
sticking
tell you
off.
what, you look impish.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
you
enjoying
do.
looking impish, because
You
I don't
do.
think it's something I often look. I think
look
I mostly
Andy
look
Impey.
gormless or gangly.
Good reference, Andy Impey. Well done.
I don't get the Andy. I don't get anything today, do I? I'm not sure it's great radio if we talk about how
No,
I
you're
look,
quite
though.
right. I'm sorry.
When
When has that ever worried us?
So I've changed vehicle.
No
and
one
then-
else seems to worry about great radio.
No,
No.
true. Frank Skinner bemoans the state of radio.
Not
live
here,
on air.
not absolute.
No.
We're the
I,
creme de la creme.
I've been on the Auto Trader app quite a lot, and then I finally changed.
Of course you have.
I finally changed vehicle.
If I
think
said
I'd be free of it.
someone on the show is going to say, I've been on the Auto Trader, who will
It
it
would definitely
be?
be me.
I love you. You're so normal.
I've changed. I've changed
Not,
car.
though, is he? He's a weird mix.
I am weird.
He is a weirdo.
Get this for weird.
Weirdo.
I've finished.
Weirdo.
I've finished with all that. I've changed the vehicle, happy. And then the other day, I caught myself spending quite a long time thinking, maybe I should get a motorbike. Why? I'm always on the train or in the car. I should be spending time at home. But I actually had a look on Auto Trader at motorbikes and thought, oh, I'm going to need to do the direct access course so that I can legally ride a proper, powerful motorbike.
Oh, you're not going to get a Harley.
You know what? You know what stopped it? I remembered.
Was it Dr. Fox?
I remembered that they need maintenance, and I can't be bothered. I just thought.
I remember that they need a terrible personality to ride one as well. Remember that bit?
I'm going to have to pump the tyres
Please,
up.
I
I'm gonna
imagine
have to have oily
85
fingers.
Surely 85% of our listeners ride a motorbike. I think you
Yeah.
should have said that.
We'll start
I
getting
not?
textings now saying people saying, oh, you should do the direct access, mate, and then get a Honda CBF 600.
I think you'd be
Something
a
like
nice person and still ride a motorbike. On a
I do.
motorbike.
I know several people.
Really?
that ride
Elvis Presley in
motorbikes.
Roustabout.
Oh, you're having to go back quite far to dredge one up, aren't you?
Eric
Was that
Estrada.
1952?
Barry Sheen.
Oh, we've got up to about
Harry
1980.
Sheen.
Yeah.
I just don't
Dave
like...
Bickers.
No, but
He was the scrambler.
Frank, your motorbikes were quite trendy. They were a bit like horses. They were quite glamorous in the 70s and 80s.
I
And
know-
then it died out, and it went a bit Harley Davidson, get your motor running.
I know it-
Dad in a denim jacket.
I know there is an element of midlife crisis about it. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I hate to say, you haven't been considering pointy sideburns.
Maybe next week when
Pointy
I have a shave.
sideburns is the new BBC drama about gangsters
Oh, yeah.
in the West Midlands.
It's just, be careful, Alan.
I'm not going to get one. There's no point in telling me, oh, they're dangerous and
It's
it
a bit
rains a lot.
Alan Partridge born to be wild.
And also, I live in the northwest where it rains too much, so I'd just
You do?
inevitably be soaking everywhere. I'd just I'd skid off it. Nah.
I daydream a lot, as I've fessed up on the show before.
Oh, yeah.
I have long and elaborate daydreams.
On the toilet sometimes.
Often on the toilet.
Off and on the toilet.
Yeah, if I have one of me falls.
Yeah.
No, I've started listening to podcasts on the toilet, which is, they say the
Oh, yeah.
smartphone is killing daydreaming. You know this theory?
Yes, I think that's a
People used to
very
sit and
valid
daydream
point.
and they look at stuff. But my current one is that I'm young again and I start playing tennis as a British tennis player. I get through the qualifying rounds to Wimbledon.
You're young again.
Yeah.
Phrase.
And in
Why
the-
are yours always like 1940s film plots?
Well, because I can't. You
Who
can't.
daydreams that?
You can't enter British tennis age 57. It wouldn't make any sense unless you're Andy Murray's mom. Anyway, so I turn up and I get, by a freaky thing, I'm drawn against Rafael Nadal in the first round. Number one court. We don't make centre court because I'm non-seeded. And I beat him in straight sets. He doesn't even win a game. And one of my things is that the outfits I wear and there's no sponsorship at all. I just get them from the market. I get like a white sports
you
top
like a
from the
plain-
market,
plain.
white trainers from the market. So there's no sponsorship. I've even sanded the a wooden racket, and I've sanded it so there's no
Wooden
brand on it.
racket.
Wooden rackets. Nice.
So so. It's a daydream about glory, but in a way it's a daydream about. I daydream about being humble. That's what
Humility
I
and
daydream about.
glory.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it is. Your daydreams have got titles. Frank Skinner,
Exactly.
Humility and Glory. Brackets
Exactly.
Wimbledon.
I
Exactly.
daydream about walking into a dinner party wearing a killer coat.
Nice.
I'm afraid that's it.
Do you daydream? about
I know
that?
that's what I imagine people going, oh, that coat looks amazing. Oh, isn't Emily lucky?
I daydream.
I honestly dream that people say that. I'd love her life because of the coat. Just because of the coat.
Yesterday I was daydreaming about turning up at the Brits with a backpack flamethrower. And then saying, OK, just invoice me for Alex Turner.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Turns out, Frank, we've got a shock jock in our midst, and that
I
shock
know, I'm
jock.
wearing one. It's wired up and apparently it will stop me smoking.
That shock jock be Emily Dean, who I think
Shock Jock be Emily Dean, are you medieval?
yeah, I think we both know that she's She's speaking with tongue firmly in cheek when she says things like that she thinks Prince is awful and
I don't know if that. I think you mean that.
motorcyclists are probably smelly. Hi all, please inform the lovely Emily Dean I have a motorbike and I'm a very nice dapper person, not a bad-tempered grease monkey. James from Tooting. That's the most broadcastable one of the texts we've had.
I have unleashed. Can I just say, I stand by... No, I don't stand by. We've also had a tweet. What about friend of the show, Ross Noble? He rides a motorbike, and he is one of my favourite human beings in the Newcastle area.
And my dear friend Adrian Child.
Yes, and my friend as well. So I apologise to Adrian, I apologise to
Nick
Ross.
Rides a motorbike.
I apologise to every man who rides a motorbike, OK? They're all great.
I went on the back of Adrian's motorbike to Bob Dylan at the O2.
I feel you should be wearing a mask because you're selling your story.
Yeah.
Dylan who?
Bob Dylan.
To Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
I thought the verb was to Bob there.
Yeah, what's going on? You've got mention-itis with Adrian. You're talking about him every 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, I'm plugging our new documentary.
Catacombs.
Yeah, Catacombs by Bike. In which we cycle beneath Paris.
Oh, nice. Do you cycle? You don't cycle, do you?
No.
I have no problem with cyclists either. I love cyclists.
I do.
Okay.
I'm going to say this. Cyclists...
Oh, Frank, no! We've just got out of controversy corner.
I used to associate cyclists with gentle, bright, bookish people. And they're
like
still
Alan.
there.
Like Alan.
No, they're still there. But what happened is we got good at it in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And the sort of blokes who used to play rugby now think, yeah, that would improve my thighs. And now there's a bit of testosterone on the bike. And I ache for the people in the duffel coats and the glasses who cycle.
It's probably a bad time to mention that the reason I ruled out my motorbike daydream was that I remembered I owned 3 bicycles. 3, not 1, but 3.
No, but, you know, the good guys are still out there.
Yeah.
But I think we have to get together and get rid of the ones with the thick necks. They should never have been on bicycles.
I can't concentrate. I'm still reeling from some of these comments.
Can I just read this one? Emily's comment was unfounded. My friend Mike rides a motorbike and is a very nice man. Also, can you give Mike a shout-out as he was just released from prison?
Thursday. Hi, Mike. Can I just say, call me?
Yeah. I like the shout-out, as it is. I've got a picture of Mike now with his clothes in a brown paper bag waiting outside to see if his wife turns up. I hope it's all well. Anyway, look, you know, we all have our prejudices, that's it. But I just saying, get the bullies off the bikes, that's all I'm saying. And, you know what? If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week, if we're not run over by cyclists and motorcyclists.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.